Now, hello, and straight away, this is the worst time of the day to video because it's midday, it's very hot, the sun is above me, but I'm actually en route somewhere, and I knew I was going to be here, and I thought to myself, I'm going to take the opportunity to come here, even though it's really not ideal. And so this is going to be a walk and talk, and I'm going to talk about other YouTube channels. But first of all, I'm just working out if it's the right thing, unless there might be a better solution. I won't bother switching the camera off because it is lovely around here. And it's all really nice. Yeah, it is super. Let's because I'm wanting to go down to the river here, and you can probably see there just how lovely is that, isn't it? Once again, I'm in Gaillac. This is Gaillac. We're just northeast of Toulouse, actually, and it's a lovely part of the south of France, and the whole area looks like this. And but I wanted to talk about other YouTube channels and watch collecting, so that's what I'm about to get into in a moment. But I do have to take a view on because the camera will get hot in this heat. I do know that, so it might be worth me going back up there where there is some shade. And do you know, it's over 30 degrees, it's really hot, and I'm really not in the mood to be on camera like this, but actually there's some shade there. Maybe I will, because I think if I'm going to start chatting, I need to put my body in shade. It's just going to be too hot, and hopefully you can see this gorgeous weir and the bridge there. I came over that bridge the other day, and I think I pointed it out. And you know, we might be struggling here for somewhere for me to concentrate on chatting, but let's get into this shade and see if I can pause for a moment. I'm also, I mean, yeah, I'm here now, and oh, it's so warm. Let me think. Okay, let me. It's now I can feel a lovely cool breeze, which is super, especially for what I'm doing. Hold on, I'm just checking that I've got the audio on. And okay, so let me. So this is a walk and talk, although I'm hiding in the shade of a tree here. I don't think I need to be in the sun. I'm going to get too hot, and the camera is going to get too hot. And if I start sweating, I do apologise. Firstly, I'm wearing a helm. I've had this watch on a few videos recently, and this is the blue dial with the orange detail, and I've put it on an orange strap. And you fashion victims out there and people with style will, hopefully you'll like it, although I don't know if you will like it because I suppose it might be too big and too loud. But okay, other watch YouTube channels and collecting wristwatches. Let's do the other YouTube channels first. One of the things I've been thinking about recently when watching watch channels and people on YouTube is that other watch YouTubers don't seem to mention other WatchTubers, and I think that's quite strange because I suppose this is a community, and the watch YouTubers all know each other, but no one seems to talk about each other. And I was thinking, why does no one talk about other YouTube channels? Is it because they are protecting their channel and they don't want to have people go away or something like that? Or is it just not professional to mention other people? I don't know. I thought I saw some shade around here. Let me go back this way. I'm going to go back to that tree of shade. So I was thinking, are they trying to protect something, or are they not wanting to promote other Watch YouTubes, or what's the deal? Because as I've been watching other YouTubers, I'm sure that a couple of years ago, when I was watching a Watch YouTube channel, I'm sure that the other Watch YouTubers spoke about other Watch YouTube channels. And just recently I've gone to a few Watch YouTube channels and I thought to myself, they never mention other Watch YouTubers. So I thought to myself, I'm going to get on camera and do exactly the opposite thing. I am going to talk about other YouTube channels. So so I thought, let me start with the Watch YouTube channels that I watch. So off the top of my head, what I can remember, I watch YouTube channels like Luxury Bazaar, Roman Schaaf. I used to watch the Timepiece Gentleman, Paul Thorpe. I don't know, they're coming to my mind right now. And we'll get on to Oisin O'Malley in a moment. And I do watch channels like Britt Pierce, Watch Gringa, and oh gosh, what's the other lady? Jenny L. And I watch, there's a channel called Design Atelier, and Jason is the host of that channel, and I think he's based in Hawaii, somewhere in South America, or the southern part of the United States. I can't remember where exactly. I think he's on an island somewhere. Design Atelier Jason, he's brilliant. I really like him and his channel and what he does. I have been watching some other watch channels recently, but when you're on camera like this, you never think, Peter McConville, although I haven't watched his stuff recently and I don't know why. I think it's because I've been so busy, I've only really had time to watch Luxury Bazaar, Roman Schaaf, who else have I, Design Atelier, and Oisin O'Malley. Now, I often say to myself, it's Friday night, crybaby night, because I look at Oisin O'Malley's channel, and what does he call it? Who Needs a Drink? And I think to myself, Oisin, watching your channel, I need a drink. And I then think, I wonder what crybaby issue he's going to be talking about tonight. Now, before anyone starts, I'm not actually anti Oisin O'Malley at all, because I actually think some of his content is very good. And Oisin used to be a musician, and the band was called Mr. North. Now, I don't think they're a formed band anymore, but if you type in Mr. North on YouTube, his band comes up. And there are a couple of tracks that I really like, actually, and I actually play them often. And Oisin was, I think he was the bass guitarist, or a guitarist and pianist. And the videos he's very good, actually. And on his channel today, there's definitely there's a high level of production quality in his ability to add music to wristwatches, and he likes classical music, and the sort of music that he likes, I really like as well. And I really like his style, and he's done a video recently on the Rolex, on a solid gold Rolex, and he's called it the King, I think. And it's a really lovely video for lots of reasons. But anyway, recently the last couple of months, you know, he's mentioned other YouTubers, and I think he must have fallen out with them, or you know, has a crybaby issue with them or something. But there's a little bit of animosity, and I don't know if it's, I don't know if they're friends again or anything like that. But I do find that interesting, and you know, I make myself you know, chuckle by saying it's the Friday night crybaby night. And you know, I don't really mean it, because I actually a Friday night is an evening that often I'm in at home, and I do put Oshin on YouTube on in the background, because he does bring on some very interesting issues, and he also has guests. Now, there's one guest that I've noticed that I've listened to a number of times, and the chap is called John. Now, I think he works for the border security or the FBI in the United States, but John is not his real name, because I think there's some anonymity there. But it doesn't matter, but his content is really good, and he's obviously a very clever guy. But his ability to explain issues, you know, some serious issues to do with, you know, the current political stuff that we all talk about. This John chap is really very good. And so when I'm listening to Oshin O'Malley's channel, and he's got John on, I know it's going to be a very valuable, interesting talk. I hope the wind isn't getting in the way. And so I have been watching Oshin O'Malley, and I do think some of his content is really delightful. I love some of his watch content. It's super duper. So the other channel that I've been watching recently is Luxury Bazaar, and I've always watched Roman Schaaf. And over the last few years, he's consistently been very interesting. His understanding of watches is very deep, and he goes back years. So he knows a lot about wristwatches, he knows a lot about brand names, he knows a lot of these brands personally. He knows the watch market very well, and I think he's very transparent. I think he really does tell you the truth about what he does professionally, and what he's doing in context. And I think his take on brands is often very accurate as well. I'm often watching, listening, thinking to myself, my goodness, Roman, you're very good. And right now, so we're in August 24, he's got 3 sales guys, and each one of those sales guys is very likable. You could imagine being a customer engaging with either of those salespeople, and you're going to be delighted that they're really nice chaps. On camera, that they're really nice. So I love the way Luxury Bazaar offers that office interaction, and hello, and you know, detail. I think it's brilliant. So Roman Schaaf, Luxury Bazaar, Oshin O'Malley. Sometimes I do watch Jenny L and Britt Pierce, and I think their content's very good, but I don't watch that content too often. And recently I've been very busy, so I don't have an awful lot of time. In a week I don't have that much time. Friday night, actually, the Oshin O'Malley thing, it just happens to be at the right time. Although this Friday just gone, I was asleep actually, because I had to go somewhere in the morning. But who else do I like? Design Atelier, and his editing is so funny, and the jokey humour of around the watches and the brands is brilliant. So I often watch his stuff because I'm really entertained. I'm chuckling my head off, you know, listening to what he says. And now, who else do I really like? Who else do I really like on, I'm just thinking those moments where, often I will type in a watch reference because I actually want to see a watch in someone's hands. And just recently I've been looking a lot of IWC watches, and there's a reason for that, because I've always liked IWC. And I have found a few channels, YouTube channels, of people talking about IWC, but I forget their names because they're not channels that I repeatedly go back to. And gosh, I'm trying to think who else do I... there's a chap called Vinny, and I do find he's very good and his content's very good, but he normally chats about being a watch vendor, and that's his context. So I do like him. Who else do I like? Oh, it's really evading me, so I'll come back to that. But I suppose one of the points that I can take is, do you know, I'm going to get off this video and I'm going to be kicking myself as I'm thinking about people that I do watch. Peter McConville. He's an Australian chap who's very informed. He takes a view on brands, on the market analysis. He's very nice, and I can tell, I think people can tell that he's trying hard to make good quality valued content. He's great. That links me to Watches TV. Mark Andre, I told you I would go away and I would forget the channels that I do watch. Mark Andre Watches TV, I always watch his stuff. Revolution and Waco, always watch his stuff. I do find that content is stuff that I can really, that I find myself resonating with. I think it's very accurate and interesting once again. And there are some others. Messy. There are some others, and oh God, I forget. Anyway, so whilst I am waiting for channels that I do watch all the time, and I completely forgot to mention them here, let's go on to collecting wristwatches, because I wanted to get around to what I'm up to. Now, if you've seen my channel, you will see a lot of G-Shock watches, and that's because whenever I think I'm moving beyond G-Shock, I always realise that that was just a figment of my imagination, because the minute I put a G-Shock down and I put them away for a week, even maybe 3 weeks, eventually I think, let's open this box, and there is a full metal G or the Frogman, and I think, oh, this is cool. And then I think, gosh, I haven't left the G-Shock fold. It's something within me, and I've noticed once again, we're August 24. G-Shock have got a couple of MRGs in the pipeline and a couple of full metals in the pipeline, and I keep thinking, and when I notice them I think, oh my goodness, that is lovely, that's going to be so good, oh I want that one. And I think, okay, as a collector and a watch enthusiast, this is great. The G-Shock are constantly bringing out models that capture your imagination. They capture your collecting desire, and you just can't let go. So G-Shock and me, I can't see as being broken. It's just not going to happen. But I do feel the pull to the mechanical dark side, and I've always been a mechanical fan. In fact, my real interest in watches probably came with mechanical watches when I was very young, and then again when I had left university, it really kicked in. And because if I'm really honest, what captured my attention when I was very young were digital watches in the 1970s, but I was very, very young. I didn't really, I was too young to really understand them or know them. But so that was my real introduction to wristwatches, was the LCD watches, the Japanese watches. But then I got into mechanical. But in the last couple of months, because I have the two Speedmaster Mark IIs and their chronographs, I've always liked chronographs, and I've always liked the diver style. And I'm not sure that I've had many watches other than chronographs and diver style, although I have had the use of or been lent some Grand Seikos that are more dress watches. I've really enjoyed those watches, but I didn't like them enough to keep them or anything, but I certainly did like them. but I have found that as I'm getting older, and perhaps where my collecting style is today, and perhaps where my collecting style is going to go indefinitely, is the G-Shock metals, divers and chronographs. And recently I've been spending a lot of time looking at IWC chronographs, Omega chronographs in particular, a German brand called Archimede, another German brand called Zinn, or is Zinn German-Swiss now? It might be German-Swiss Zinn. I should know off the top of my head, but I've got so many brands in my mind. I might have, I'm getting them mixed up. But I've been looking at a chronograph pilot by Archimede, and they've had this design for years. And I keep looking at it, and it gives me the IWC vibe, but it's so clean and it's so it's such a pilot chronograph design. I keep going back to it. Now, there's also another a brand called Gaillac, and actually, I think Gaillac was formed by Mr. Zinn, the former founder of Zinn watches. And maybe I read that wrong, but I certainly, I think that's the case. Anyway, please correct me if I'm wrong. And when I roll the camera like this, I really should, have all this prepped in the background. So I do apologise. So I've been looking at chronographs. In particular, the IWC pilot chronograph, Archimede pilot chronograph, the Zinn racing chronograph, and I think they have a diver chronograph and another utility chronograph, and this Gaillac chronograph. There is the, Omega have a number of chronographs in the, I think it's the Seamaster case, and of course the Speedmaster case. And I've been looking at all of those, and IWC, and I've mentioned IWC. So I've got IWC, Omega, Archimede, Zinn, Gaillac, and those are the main watches, the chronographs I've been looking at. And I've realised that each one of those brands offers a chronograph that I really like and I really want. Now, so there's about 5 there. Now, if I had the firepower, I would literally go buy, and I would be happy as an excited squirrel until they all arrive in the post, and then I would wait until they've all arrived, and then I'd start to open them and do an unboxing. And so there are at least 5 pilot chronographs that I want, and I'm working out how best I get them. That doesn't discount me wanting more G-Shocks. So we have a massive problem. The problem is I need money. I need money to buy the watches. So isn't that the problem that we all share? And so what that means is you need to perform a budget. You need to think about in reality, how much money do you have as a person to actually spend on wristwatches? And so you do have to really think about it. And so where I'm going today, where I hope I'm going today, is I have an open door policy on buying G-Shock, and I have an open door policy on buying mechanical chronographs. But there is a barrier to entry on the mechanical chronographs, and that's probably financial. And in fact, when I say that, some people are going to say, hold on a second, MRGs, they are even more expensive than some of the Swiss brands, and you are correct. So this hobby, this interest, this enthusiasm is flipping expensive. It has ramifications on the car that you drive because of the dent in your finances. And sometimes I like cliffhangers, and I think I'm going to leave you right there. I'm going to leave everyone on top of this cliff. This cliff is, we all want watches. We all want some super nice watches. The dollar value attachment is so high, you end up at this precipice of financial viability, and then you realize if you jump off you won't survive if you buy all of them. So you have to think, you know, at what height is safe to jump off, and that's where I'm at. And I thought there must be many people out there that share a similar point of view. Anyway, this is lovely. I am very hot. I can feel I'm about to sweat. I've got to go to the supermarket. I hope everybody is well, and I shall chat to you all again soon.